It is May 7th, 2025. Chickens say hello. I am a little surprised by the weather today. It was forecasted that we were going to be getting rain and it was going to be cloudy all week. And today it's so nice out. It was raining on and off, like pouring yesterday. I was able to get out in the garden in between rain spells and I started some pulling garden beans as well as some bushing varieties. I had started some back in April and those have sprouted. I did a garden tour last week and the garden looks already so different that I thought I would do a beginning of May tour also. And I need to do some work out there today. Steve leaves for work very, very early. And yesterday he came in and I was awake and he's like, I have some bad news. Homer ate a bunch of your seedlings. As I've talked about in a recent video, Homer was recently diagnosed with Addison's disease, which he suffers from pica and he has for a really long time. And I was familiar with pica from I went to school for psychology, and so I was familiar with the pica diagnosis for humans. Dogs can get it too. It's just he eats inanimate objects. We spend a lot of money on expensive dog food for them, and I also cook for them. He used to really enjoy Barbie clothes for a long time. And he throws it up right after, but he eats a bunch of different stuff. I brought 4 or 5 trays up from under the grow lights and I kept them on the floor in our dining room, and I guess he was having a spell, or I don't know if he's just due for his pre-Corton shot, but he ended up eating several of my tomato seedlings and some of the summer squash. He threw it all up, but I was pretty disappointed. I immediately, that morning at like 6 in the morning, I was restarting seeds and getting them on the heat mats under grow lights. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I felt like I had to do something in that moment. We have a local garden center in town, and I may stop by there and just see. It was mostly the Roma tomatoes, and I really like those for canning whole tomatoes. I know they carry some organic plants and seeds, and I know a lot of organic herbs they have sectioned off. So I'll stop in there one of these days and just see what they have for tomatoes. Part of the process of me hardening them off, I've been keeping them in sunny windows so that they get used to the direct sunlight. Normally I bring them in and out, and I usually use our greenhouse, but I didn't start as many seedlings as I have in previous years. I really tried to simplify it. Also didn't want to have to pot anything up. So I've kept everything really simple. And some of these cucumbers, they've gotten a little leggy, but that's okay. I can bury them up the stem a little bit. They'll be all right. I want to get them used to being out here. I do have this tray of this 6 cell of Amish paste tomatoes that are extremely leggy that I need to get planted. Leggy tomatoes, as many of you I'm sure already know, are very easy to fix. If once you go to plant them out, you just bury them all the way up to the top and they'll be okay. So let me show you the garden. These are the bushing beans that I started on April 23rd. And then I started some purple ones behind it, provider ones right there. And these are also ones I started in April. I'm using this bed very differently than I have in the past. I'm not growing really any tomatoes in it yet. I've got some peppers and this yellow crookneck squash in here. I've also got celery on the ends and some lettuce growing. This is turning into an oregano garden bed. I really need to do something about that plant. I originally had peas in here. I grow peas in the spring, tomatoes in the summer in this garden bed. But the peas we had issues with, as if you've seen our other videos, you already know why. But the gray zucchini I put on the end, and then we have rutabaga. I usually can get multiple harvests of oregano. I cut it way down, almost all the way down to the bottom, and then it regrows again like this, and then I cut it back down to the bottom. It regrows, and I dehydrate it using our dehydrator And we have this delicious fresh oregano from our garden. Here we have peas that I started. I had tall telephone peas on the other side, but they got eaten. I got 4 of these trash cans from Dollar Tree, and it worked out really well at protecting the seedlings from getting taken by a mouse or chipmunk. I'm not sure. Got a couple tomato plants with flea beetles on them that I need to spray. Some marigolds. Black Beauty eggplant is struggling. Those flea beetles really have done a number on those, and these San Marzano tomatoes are struggling also. So I have plenty of eggplant plants inside. The Roma tomatoes, especially with Homer eating a whole bunch of them, I might have to buy plants. In this bed behind it, I have some, it looks like volunteer lettuce and 1 beet, 2 beets. I think I see 2 beets growing. We've got kohlrabi and some of the Napa cabbage bolted. Same with the pak choi. And then I have a summer squash, a zucchini, I think, in the middle. Here is the green stalk, and all of the seedlings that I transferred out here are looking pretty good. The parsley looks not great. I'm hoping it makes a comeback. We'll see. I might have to start some new stuff. The sage is doing good. A lot of the dill has sprouted, and some of the cilantro. These are the little Marvel peas from Dollar Tree. I have in a container, and a serrano chili pepper, also from Dollar Tree. And then this is so exciting. I knew we were going to be getting rain, so I try and do things in the garden before that. I'll either start seeds or I'll transplant plants. And I got all of our sweet peppers in, as well as our hot peppers. I've got several different varieties growing, most of which you'll be able to see when I hopefully am able to harvest from them. A couple barrels of purple potatoes. And in the flower bed, I'll show you some of the other flowers on the other when I get on the other side. But I started a bunch of sunflowers and zinnias in here. Here is our brassica bed. My friend Mandamu had suggested that we somehow tie this up so it doesn't rip, and I haven't done it yet. I have to do it, so maybe that'll be something I do today. But everything's looking really great in here so far. We have kale and I don't remember. Oh, kale and Brussels sprouts and cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower, more kale. So I'm really excited to see how this does. There are some holes starting to develop because these things are sharp at the top, and I really need to tie it up somehow so it doesn't rip. I did a bunch of weeding. This was all overgrown weeds. I got them out. I've missed a couple in there. They might have grown after the rain. But this is where I'm going to be putting those Amish paste tomatoes. It's the best spot for them. They do have a tendency to fall over the side. They get really tall. They are indeterminates. They just keep growing and growing, and they fall over the side of the deer fencing. I'm going to try and figure out if I just add, I have to take this one down because it's all rotted, but if I'm going to add maybe some stakes to the top so that I can have a little bit taller space to tie the tomato plants to. Here's our cucumber bed. Those are Cossacks pineapple, ground cherries in the middle. And then I've got some of the cucumbers transplanted out here. I had 3 plants in there. This is one of the reasons why I grow 3 seeds together when it comes to growing cucumbers and sometimes melons. They're very much subject to pests. So by growing 3, most of the time I get 1 plant that will stick around. And so far that's the case. 2 of the plants got eaten, and then there's still 1 in there. But those trash cans from Dollar Tree are pretty fantastic. A tender sweet watermelon over there. I did end up fertilizing our garlic, I want to say on Sunday, maybe Saturday, but I usually fertilize it with a granular fertilizer in April, and I just never got around to it. We had such busy schedules that I made sure to do it before all the rain. But the garlic is looking really great so far, And then we do have some radishes. I think I can probably harvest some of these. Where are these from? Baker Creek. These are French breakfast radishes. These peas over here, the Alaska peas from Dollar Tree, they're looking really good. I've grown them for the past few years and they always do well. The Swiss chard is hanging in there. The green machine zucchini. And then I also have some more peppers and a sugar baby watermelon. Those are not the bushing variety of sugar baby watermelon. I do have those growing too because the kids wanted to grow some watermelon in their little gardens, so I did buy the bushing variety, but those ones are the ones that vine like normal. And then I have pimento peppers in here, so that's lipstick pimento from Baker Creek and the red ruffled pimento from Hudson Valley Seed Company. Here is some dwarf Siberian kale and an artichoke plant. Here's some before pictures of what this whole space looked like. I had 3 fabric pots on one side, 3 more on the other, and then I had these other garden beds that we had just built, and I wanted to figure out a way to incorporate them on this side of the garden. I ended up moving 3 of the fabric pots over here against this trellis, and then I have this garden bed that we built here. This is a 2.5 foot by 7.5 foot, I think. I originally wanted to tier it so that there was like one here and then it goes up a step to another one, so that it would just be like one lower, one higher. I thought that looked really cool, but the ground is so uneven here, and there's a big rock that I can't move or anything. It's just a boulder under the ground that's there forever. It's probably a part of that one there. I think I'm gonna have this one here, and then when we expand the strawberry bed, I'm gonna expand it bigger than I had originally planned and incorporate it over here, because I can't put any beds right here. It's just too uneven. There's too many rocks. I've got to unfortunately get rid of these stumps at some point. They're full of termites and they're just rotting. So I do need to get rid of the stumps at some point. I might end up including the stumps once they're gone in with the strawberries and just make this one giant strawberry patch in the middle of the garden. I topped off some of these pots. Steve helped me with this a little bit. When I was starting sunflowers, he went through and he cut up the fabric. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that, but I really like when the beds go right into the earth because it gives more space for roots to go. And I'm able to possibly maybe use this space to grow more potatoes or sweet potatoes. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do over here, or I might just use it for cherry tomatoes. So I used over 5 cubic feet of peat moss, 2 of the big bags of garden soil, 2 of the smaller bags of raised bed soil, and I got that on top. And then I have to go around today with the blowtorch to burn the plastic. Landscape fabric underneath is plastic, so I have to go through and burn it so that it doesn't continue fraying, and I'm going to tuck it underneath. So I still have to do that over here. With the strawberry bed being round over here, I decided to kind of go with the curve of that to keep a path going this way towards our future greenhouse. Oh, I have the 9.5 foot bed here, 7.5 foot bed here. Then I'm going to do the same bed, but like 4 feet, and then one of those round ones. And that way it's like, gets bigger going that way. I think that will be really cool to look at and will fit in with the rounded rock beds that we're doing. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. Over here, these are the cat's pajamas from Proven Winners. Got these a few years ago. They're just so pretty. I'm so happy it made it come back. It looked pretty sad last year. And the bleeding hearts. And this is also a Proven Winners plant. They're just so pretty. And I can't remember what that is. I know it's a flower. I just can't remember what it was. The label's not there. Bee balm. And then I started the Poling green beans. I got a new variety that I've never grown before. It's a Blue Lake pole bean, but it's a hybrid from Hudson Valley Seed Company. On the trellis over here, and then on this side, I've got the purple potted pole beans. There's a couple of volunteer plants in there. I'm gonna let them go. The asparagus is looking really good. It's young asparagus, so you kind of let it grow before you cut it back, and that's what I'm doing. So that was it for the garden tour. I'm thinking some of the stuff I want to get done today is those Amish paste tomatoes I want to get transplanted in the ground. Maybe some of those cucumbers and watermelons, because we are supposed to be getting more rain. And then get at least one of the garden beds filled up. Okie dokie. So it's a little bit later, like usual. The wind has picked up, which seems like a new normal here. And I think one of the first things I want to do that's a priority is to get the Amish paste tomatoes planted. So I'm going to dig the holes. I don't have the auger tool for it with the power drill. I'm just going to dig them up by hand. I know the holes are all still there. We got 6 plants over here, and then I had an extra one, so I stuck it in somewhere else, but those should be good. I'm also going to be transplanting some of the cucumbers and watermelons that we have. This is a Space Master 80 cucumber from M.I. Gardner. I have 3 of them in this peat pellet. I'm gonna stick a small tomato cage around it. And I think I'm gonna go transplant a few more into the main bed. Okie dokie. I got a bunch of things transplanted out here. It's quite hot in the sun, but I got some melons, cucumbers, I think I forgot to show before our strawberry bed, but we have tons of strawberries. I just wish I saw some honeybees out here. I see pollinator bugs, but I don't see any honeybees or bumblebees. I'm hoping they start to make an appearance soon. So now start to burn off some of the frayed part of the fabric. I've got this handy dandy little blowtorch here, and just go and burn the edge, and that will prevent it from fraying. So I'm going to do all the way around, and then if I still have time, because I'm running out of time, I will cut this and at least get it cut. I got it all burned on the outer edge. Smells fantastic. But it's necessary. It will prevent a bunch of loose plastic just fraying off of it constantly. All right, the last thing I think I'm going to do today, prep this bed, maybe put some soil into it, some peat moss. The first thing I need to do is cut the landscape fabric that's underneath. Good thing about this one is because it's already the edges where I cut, I don't really need to burn much, maybe just these corner pieces a little bit. Okay. I did it. Got this other bed filled. I wasn't planning on using 2 bales of peat moss. Even though the price of peat moss has gone up, it's still cheaper than filling it with something else. And I really didn't want to fill it with rotting wood. I've done that in the past. It is an excellent filler, but if I'm able to use something different, I'm going to. That just means I have to go to the garden store and get some more peat moss. I know I'll need either 1 of the bigger bales that they sell at Lowe's, or Home Depot sells the smaller bales, and I'll need 2 of those. And I'll be able to top it off again next year if I need to. I have got myself a nice sweaty glow going on. I think that's gonna do it for this video. I'm very happy that I was able to get out here today. It was a gorgeous day and get a bunch of stuff done in the garden. I got cucumbers in the ground, some of the tomatoes, and melons. I got cantaloupe and different varieties of watermelons planted. I still have more to do. I like to stagger out the plantings a little bit because pests do get to the seedlings sometimes, and by keeping backup indoors, I have replacements in case that happens, because it does happen. Like, I have a bunch of tomatoes out there that have gotten eaten up by flea beetles. I know some slugs or snails have gotten some of the cucumber seedlings. So it's good to keep backup. That way I can replace them and not have to worry that I'm not gonna have enough to grow. Well, that is going to do it for this video. I appreciate you being here, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.